just want to definitely point out that the indigenous folks that lived here were definitely hunter-gatherer folks. If you look on the ground, you'll see a lot of pecans. Pecans were definitely game. They were going to have granaries. They were going to have farms. They were going to have forms of irrigation to farm this stuff. And that's what this is. Photo from June of last year when this was just raging. And I think just this humidity today is actually causing... But right here, and again, you can see this is much more modern, but this is an example of basically how they would use this. They would open left. The Spaniards definitely, just by taking a peek at it. They actually constructed this mission here, which construction began on this building here and the brick and mortar that we're looking at in 1731. So Ladrillo is what they call the bricks that they constructed here. It runs north by northwest here in San Antonio. It's pretty much the dividing line of topography. If you live east of 35, which we are now east of 35, you basically live where the coastal plains begin. And if you live west of 35, you basically live where the hill country begins. And so the last mission we're going to visit is kind of on the cusp of where the hill country sing. And the Catholic Church is a usually pretty savvy business folk. And growing up in Texas history, never once did I hear anybody say when secularization happened. All of them had a stucco facade. You wouldn't see exposed stone. It was probably redone in the 1820s, 1830s to look more militaristic. Maybe 16 months or so. Going out in California. And again, I really do theorize that the Spaniards never envisioned automobiles and the world being connected as well. They thought these folks, they'll never meet each other. They recycled names quite a bit all throughout. Yeah, I'll get into Juan Diego here in a little bit. Here underneath these stones, that's why it's kind of locked and they don't want folks going over this. On that note, and again, me bringing up the fact that 70% of indigenous people would perish, and every year the majority of the consensus when folks leave, they're like, yeah, can't believe I came all the way from Indiana or Kentucky, and this is what I saw. So we do want to try to make it look more like these. Is the term. They were kind of upset when they didn't get. Later on became San Antonio, and again, homage to the river. The other thing I like to talk about. Yeah, because I mean these are really small chapels.
Oh yeah.
So then it's probably a blessing in disguise because they can actually probably get more parishioners to come out. Right? And again, since that bastion over at Espada, that one bastion was kind of romanticized, just been more rectangular and not as like rounded and.
Because like that, you can't even jump out of that.
You walk into the Alamo grounds. We're definitely nowhere near there yet,
No.
But we want to get there somehow. But just getting everybody on the same page is going to be a challenge. But hopefully that can happen. So, all right. Yeah. So this is one of those dioramas that we've been looking at some of the other ones. Alamo and Mission San Jose were definitely planned for San Antonio. For the longest time, even studying the missions after Spanish times and into the Texas and the U.S. times, who was still in Spain across the sea, named Rosa. That's one theory. The other theory is that he might have carved it for diverting the river. But even then, it was always groundwater that they would get from wells as drinking water. Or they would I'm glad they have them back. So I bring my water bottle. Would hunt was they would do big burns. They would set up a controlled burn on one side of a field or one side of a... So they would have the indigenous folks quarry out the limestone. Most of the regular parts were done by local indigenous labor, where they would just stack them and take the stones out and stack them. Now in the middle, where all this beautiful intricate carving was done, they would actually have these statues, the Virgin Mary, the Virgen de Guadalupe, St. Joseph, Mary. Imaginations throughout its history. But all right, I pointed out that painting of Juan Diego to y'all, and I'll tell you the story of Juan Diego. When what they will do some evenings, well, at least they used to, I don't know if they'll be able to do this now. When you look on the greenery, you see that projector-looking thing? Surrounded by limestone. This is an actual old quarry where the indigenous folks would come and quarry out the limestone. It's actually stacked incredibly. Dome was just recently renovated. However, this was just renovated this year. It was closed at the beginning in January. Stone structures, some of the old stone housing in this area matches up with the remnants of the walls here at Mission Concepcion. Now, the other cool thing I learned about this is it translated into Spanish. I finally know what La Cantera, shopping center, northwest side of town by La Cantera. Has a really cool mariachi mass ever since. I mean, there probably was one there at one point, just didn't see. But this, again, even pre-pandemic and everything, it was chip barrels of honey. They would put sheets of glass in it because that was the only way to keep it from breaking as it came over. To the top. Some of the renovations that they did. It's been part of the renovations that they did at Espada.
We've got nothing in the box to keep an army in being. When you're ready, you fall over, especially around the border. You will do whatever you have to do, wherever.
They're not worn down by use. These teeth grow up. Jacob's sheep are considered a polycentric sheep in the story of Jacob in the first book of the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Old Testament. The breed is thought to be more of India and is one of the most beautiful animals in the country. The axis deer was introduced to the state of Texas in the 1930s.
You won't want to miss. Enter here and expect to see the unexpected. Just behind me are the freaks of nature, a world of bewilderment, the unusual, the strange, the unique. You may be shocked, amazed, maybe even appalled, but we guarantee you will be intrigued. See skulls deformed beyond imagination.
This here town was practically becoming a ghost town. You see, ever since the big explosion, thanks to Sparky burying those sticks of dynamite, thinking they were bones, the entire town.
Like, yeah, I don't like it. Oh, no.
1918, and the two buildings on my left here, the Little Rhine Steakhouse and the Big Tree Restaurant, both of these were home to 5 missions on our missions trail. We have a beautiful missions trail. And on the right side of the boat here are some Texas Longhorn cattle. They sent from the Briscoe Western Art Museum. Originally San Antonio City Public Library from 1930 to 1968. No line bridge again, please remain seated. You stand them up, you get a big headache. On the island is the Black Mill Smoke. It was put there in 1991. It remembers the Mass, Father Matheny, that on the river in 1691. Straight down the river here, nope, it's not a church steeple, it's the Bexar County Courthouse. Behind to my left here with the flag flying beautifully above it is the Tower Light Building. And it flows out into the Gulf of Mexico. So for safety purposes now, I'll be honking my horn. Coming out underneath the bridge, down the river to my left here will be floodgate number 5. It's closed, maintains the level of the water in our park. If you look back there, if it looks like a drop-off, it is about a 15 to 20-foot drop. Claimed at least 50 lives that we know of and millions of dollars in property damage. So between 19 on my left here is Main Plaza. As we go by my left, we'll see an opening at the opening stairs. Now you're the very day, the very minute that they lifted Prohibition. 10 minutes earlier, they'd all gone. Back in 1997, they produced the Selena movie. This opened at the hotel in 1968, and the foyer of this hotel is a part of the original 1853 hotel. Directly for the boat here is the Hyatt Regency Hotel. This is a beautiful atrium, waterfalls, mountains, streams, and plants. Go straight to this atrium right across the street. Takes you directly to Alamo Square and the Alamo Museum. We're about 70 yards from the house. Here year-round, they eat lots and lots of food. That's okay, folks. Everything they eat, we put it on surface. The Riverwalk, the first one to have an office on my right side at the completion of the park in 1941. His plans for the Riverwalk were and inside the mall here is the IMAX Theater.